A dying warrior lies among the destroyed ruins, realizing that all of his comrades have been killed. A blood-covered hand weakly clutches a glowing red demon core resting on the cracked ground. Jack, humanity's last hero, lies impaled on the battlefield while gathering the last sparks of his magic. His face is battered and bleeding, but he still tries to hold on to his life. Jack lies surrounded by high-level demons he managed to destroy in a desperate final battle. The surrounding ground is completely covered in the lifeless bodies of slaughtered monsters. Using every last bit of energy, Jack forces himself up from the bloody dirt. Suddenly, an even more terrifying demon with red horns steps out of the dark smoke. The colossal monster looms right over Jack, proving humanity completely misjudged the demon army's real power. Jack coughs up blood, realizing in horror that he is not strong enough to defeat this beast. The demonic monster glares down at him with menacing, glowing yellow eyes. Jack looks back in utter shock, knowing this unstoppable enemy is about to finish him off. The terrifying demon swoops down from the sky as Jack lies badly wounded on the battlefield. As the monster reaches down toward him, Jack despairs that fate is giving him a cruel death. The demon extends its deadly giant claws to finish Jack off once and for all. Suddenly, a blinding golden light flashes and completely engulfs Jack's fading vision. A strange burst of energy shifts everything around him in an instant. Heavy boots stomp onto a metal floor as a loud voice orders cadets to stand at attention. Jack's eyes snap open in complete shock as he tries to figure out what just happened. He looks down and realizes he is standing in line wearing a young cadet's uniform. Looking around, Jack sees dozens of human recruits lined up inside a high-tech training hall. He squishes his face in utter disbelief as he feels his new youthful skin. Jack freaks out after realizing he has somehow been reincarnated inside a completely different person's body. Jack looks around in confusion as he stands among rows of organized military trainees. Outside, a massive futuristic facility sits quietly within the heavily protected military compound. Massive defensive towers and tall walls rise up to protect the surrounding area. This giant walled refuge is known as Helios, humanity's ultimate stronghold against destruction. Captain Drake sternly addresses the recruits to remind them of their world's history. He explains how 6 massive alien obelisks crashed onto Earth many years ago. Horrifying monsters emerged from these structures and slaughtered countless innocent people. In desperation, scientists began dissecting captured demons to find a way to fight back. They created advanced grafting technology to extract and refine the core energy from monsters. By implanting these powerful cores into soldiers, humanity created a dangerous new weapon. This process gave human fighters incredible strength to equal the deadly demon threat. They hoped these modified soldiers could match the power of their ultimate lost hero. Drake explains how humanity's powered warriors charged bravely into battle against the invaders. They stood against the most terrifying wave of monsters in human history. Vicious beasts swarmed the battleground from every side with relentless fury. The brutal fighting raged on for weeks as warriors slashed through the hordes. Humanity finally forced the beasts to retreat, leaving a ruined battlefield behind. Jack stares quietly as faint memories of the ancient war surface in his head. Drake somberly mentions that victory came at a terrible cost of many great heroes. The ultimate king Altair stood victorious alone on a pile of slaughtered monsters. His legendary sacrifice brought decades of peace and went down in history. Jack secretly remembers fighting a powerful high-tier demon that nobody knows about. Drake shouts at the fresh recruits, reminding them of their duty as humanity's last hope. The new soldiers stand strictly at attention, preparing for the dangerous war ahead. The excited recruits shout back together, eager to prove themselves to their commander. Drake notices something unusual in the crowd and locks his sharp eye onto Jack. Jack quietly mutters details about demon ranks to himself, unaware Drake is listening. Drake marches right through the rows of recruits, heading straight toward Jack. Drake stops right in front of Jack, who looks up in surprise at the commander. Drake looks down at Jack with an intense gaze and demands to know his name. Jack hesitates, wondering if he should reveal his true name to the commander. Drake reads Jack's name tag and reacts with utter disbelief and mockery. Drake mocks Jack, saying someone so weak does not deserve the name Altair. Drake grabs Jack's shoulder, declaring that he lacks any training or talent. Enraged by the hero's name, Drake grabs Jack and swings him through the air. Jack gets slammed heavily onto the hard floor in front of everyone. Jack falls heavily toward the floor with a bruised and bleeding face. He slams hard onto the ground after taking Drake's brutal physical attack. Drake turns away coldly and orders all the recruits to prepare themselves. The recruits stand straight at attention and shout back together in response. Drake leads the group forward as the official physical testing begins. A friendly recruit named Luke kneels down to check if Jack is still breathing. Luke smiles kindly and introduces himself as a fellow cadet in training. Meanwhile, the other recruits continue walking past while making fun of Jack. A cold female cadet named Maya tells Jack that sharing a hero's name means nothing. Maya turns around and walks away, leaving Jack bruised on the floor. Maya calls Jack a fool as she casually walks away from him and Luke. Jack gets furious and grinds his teeth at her arrogant comment. Luke helps Jack sit up while explaining that Maya is a top recruit. He explains that Maya belongs to a famous family and has incredible talent. Maya walks out through the doorway without looking back at anyone. Jack thinks about her family name and wonders why it sounds so familiar. Luke pulls Jack up by his arm to help him stand back on his feet. A pink-haired cadet suddenly approaches them holding a small camera. She smiles awkwardly and tells them to just pretend she is not even there. Jack stares at her calmly, wondering who this strange newcomer is. Luke asks if she took their picture, while Jack demands that she speak up. The cheerful girl smiles brightly and introduces herself to the guys. Grace imagines a dramatic romantic scene between Drake and Jack while snapping photos on her camera. She giggles with delight over her pictures, while Drake and Jack stare at her in total confusion. At the physical testing arena, recruits gather to begin their mandatory fitness evaluations. Jack smirks arrogantly, confident that his past combat experience will make these simple tests easy. He gets into position on the track line as the instructor prepares to start the sprint. When the signal sounds, Jack bursts forward at full speed onto the running track. However, his weak body immediately gives out, leaving him breathless after just a few steps. Jack collapses face first onto the ground in exhaustion while all the other recruits mock him. Next, Jack tries the strength testing machine, only to immediately injure his wrist in painful agony. During the long jump, Jack barely clears 1 meter, while Chloe easily jumps double his distance. Chloe crosses her arms in disgust, calling Jack an idiot for failing so miserably. Jack screams in pure horror as he realizes he earned the worst test score in history. Jack lies crushed on the ground, while Grace snaps more funny photos of his complete failure. The instructor points out Jack's terrible physical test scores directly to Commander Drake. Drake dismisses the concern and tells the instructor that physical strength is not everything. Drake walks away as the instructor salutes and prepares to move the recruits forward. Jack picks himself back up off the ground, refusing to give up. The recruits are ordered to march straight into the main grafting facility. Jack remembers his past life when he achieved an amazing 96% compatibility score. He tightens his fist, knowing that strong willpower is what truly determines success. An intense power flares around Jack, shocking the nearby recruits as he walks past. Jack confidently marches right through the crowd of stunned recruits. All the recruits line up inside the giant futuristic laboratory to begin the grafting process. Jack looks at his hands, impressed by how advanced the modern grafting technology has become. Chloe scores a high 39% compatibility, easily passing the test and surprising the crowd. Jack watches quietly as the crowd cheers over her amazingly high test results. Coming from a famous family, Chloe clearly stands on a whole different level. She maintains a cool face while the machine finishes recording her compatibility score. Jack feels annoyed by the clueless recruits who endlessly worship Chloe's beauty and talent. After unhooking the testing cable, Chloe smugly flips her hair in victory. She steps down gracefully from the pod, landing cleanly back on the ground. Chloe walks away as the other recruits continue to talk about how perfect she is. She struts down the exit hallway, leaving everyone behind in complete awe. The heavy lab doors slide closed, locking her inside the private hallway. The moment she is out of sight, Chloe lets out a massive sigh of relief. Blushing red, she puffs her cheeks and proudly celebrates showing off her powers. Chloe tries to calm herself down in private, reminding herself to maintain a low profile. Meanwhile, Jack mentally admits that Chloe's high score was actually quite impressive. Luke elbows Jack lightly, wanting to share his thoughts about her performance. Luke tells Jack that he could tell Chloe was putting up a cool facade. He asks Jack if watching the painful grafting process makes him feel nervous at all. Luke turns his attention back to the stage as the brutal testing continues. Many recruits suffer intense pain as dark energy is grafted into their bodies. One cadet drops to his knees in relief after barely passing with 12%. Another recruit screams in agony and gives up because she cannot endure the pain. Luke easily tolerated the pain during his test, reaching 24% compatibility. He stood tall and confident after proving his strong potential as a soldier. Every year brings surprising new talents as the grueling selection process unfolds. Grace finishes her grafting test with an impressive score. The system screen confirms that Grace passed the test. The assistant reports that 6 cadets have already scored above 30%. The officers observe the crowd of remaining recruits from the control room. Jack glances up toward the commanders with a knowing smirk. He steps forward onto the stage while other recruits mock him. Jack ignores their laughter, confident that he will stun everyone. He grins darkly, ready to show his true capabilities as a former master. Jack approaches the staff and chooses the red power core. The core container holds crystals of different colors and attributes. The worker selects the red core, which represents pure offensive power. Red provides attack power, yellow gives defense, and green offers healing. Different colored cores provide unique abilities, with black obsidian cores being the rarest of them all. Jack stands under the testing machine holding his chosen red core in his hand. He carefully presses the glowing red core directly into the slot on his chest. Small metallic clamps immediately snap outward to lock the core into place. The core clicks tightly into position, preparing to activate its inner energy. A powerful wave of raw energy surges straight through Jack's entire body. Jack stays completely calm as the core flashes brightly against his chest. A technician steps up with a power cable to check on Jack's readings. Red warning lights suddenly flash inside the lounge, alarming the other cadets. Grace looks up in shock, realizing another recruit triggered a massive energy response. The crowd watches in awe as Jack's chest radiates an insanely bright light. Jack screams loudly as intense red energy violently surges through his entire body. The amazed cadets watch through the glass in shock at his incredible hidden strength. Inside the lab, the technicians panic as the compatibility score suddenly climbs to 40%. Jack holds his ground firmly and endures the massive surge of energy without backing down. Glowing with fiery power, Jack braces himself and gets ready to absorb even more. Bright sparks fly along the heavy cables as raw energy pours into his chest. A wild wind whips through the facility as the audience stares down in total disbelief. Red lightning crackles around the room while the compatibility score climbs to 45%. The system alarms sound again as the reading quickly jumps up to 50%. The power score keeps skyrocketing, rapidly reaching an unprecedented 60%. Drake slams his hand against the glass wall, completely blown away by the incredible numbers. The instructors watch in utter disbelief, unable to process the insane results on the screen. The terrified cadets fall to the floor, screaming that Jack must be cheating or breaking the machine. Floating above them, Jack boasts that his true legendary strength would easily force everyone to their knees. He smiles sinisterly, wondering if anyone around him could finally see his true, powerful identity. Suddenly, a sharp heartbeat echoes in his head as a strange sensation hits his mind. Jack's consciousness plunges deep into a dark vortex filled with intense, burning energy. As he tumbles through the void, a mysterious power sparks deep inside his soul. His chest core blinks softly as Jack loses his balance and floats helplessly in the dark. Suddenly, a giant red demon avatar opens its terrifying eyes right behind him. Massive shadowy claws wrap around Jack, completely suppressing his dark aura. Jack panics in the dark as he feels his immense power suddenly draining away. Jack snaps back to reality, wide-eyed and gasping as his power violently collapses. Sparks fly everywhere as the core device attached to his chest cracks. Jack spits out dark fluid as his massive energy is suddenly drained away. Completely exhausted, Jack collapses to his knees while a technician shouts at him. The monitor screen beeps as his energy rating dramatically plummets down. A scientist explains to Drake that a core glitch likely caused the high readings. Drake confirms that Jack's final compatibility score has dropped to just 10%. Technicians quickly surround Jack as he lies motionless on the test platform. Luke rushes to his friend's side while others mock Jack for failing. Luke gently holds Jack, who sits up looking confused and completely dizzy. Chloe peeks over the ledge looking displeased by his pathetic final score. A jealous girl furiously vows that she will never let anyone be more talented than her. Drake walks away carrying his broken helmet while his fan club takes photos of him. In the waiting lounge, Jack sits alone, deeply confused about what went wrong during his test. Jack feels frustrated because he knows his strong will should have given him a high score. Suddenly, the heavy lounge door opens, catching the attention of all the tired cadets. Jack forces his weak body to stand up and salute as the head instructors enter. A stern commander enters the room to give the remaining cadets their next set of instructions. The commander steps forward into the room while everyone stays standing in total silence. He congratulates all the cadets who managed to survive and advance to the final round. With a sharp glare, he warns them that the next challenge will be far more dangerous. He reveals that the final test requires each cadet to face a real demon in battle. Hearing this terrifying news, the cadets sweat nervously, hoping they can survive the encounter. The instructor commands all the cadets to line up and enter the combat area right away. The frightened trainees quickly run down the hallway toward their final survival test. Jack collapses onto his knees in front of Drake, completely exhausted from his broken core. Instructor Drake looks down sternly as Jack struggles to stand back up. Drake notices small, glowing red pieces left on the floor where Jack was kneeling. He picks up the broken red core fragments to inspect them closely. Intrigued by Jack, Drake crushes the pieces in his hand while watching Jack run out. Jack pushes through his intense exhaustion and sprints straight toward the battle zone. High above, birds fly over a massive walled arena filled with stone ruins. The birds soar near the giant entrance gate as the test is about to begin. A sudden bright light appears as the heavy steel door unlocks with a loud sound. Thick steam pours out as the giant gate opens up to reveal the battleground. Drake looks up, wondering how dangerous the world outside the city walls has become after 60 years. The massive city gates slowly open as the instructor commands the recruits to double-check their equipment. Walking toward the exit, Drake silently reflects on what happened when his core shattered earlier. He steps firmly onto the ground, preparing himself for whatever danger lies ahead. Suddenly, Drake's eyes widen in shock as he senses something strange through his power. A powerful energy pulse radiates from his body, scanning the ground like a radar. The red pulse wave rapidly expands far past the gateway and across the outside terrain. His perception sweeps across the entire region, mapping the land far beyond the fortress walls. Deep inside the dark forest, the energy wave detects monstrous signals hiding in the trees. A pack of wild beast monsters is caught on his radar, rushing straight toward the gate. Beyond the tunnel, a giant rock wrapped in massive tree roots looms under the sky. Drake's red radar wave sweeps across the rocky terrain toward a dark cave entrance. The perception pulse buzzes deeper into the shadowy, twisting cavern system. The scanning energy continues spreading through the innermost depths of the cave. The scan reveals a terrifying demon sitting inside a lair filled with human skulls. Deep inside the dark cavern, the powerful monster instantly detects Drake's radar signal. A massive, fiery beast arises from the darkness as embers flicker around it. Drake realizes this shadowy creature might possess power even greater than Altair's. Drake's eyes widen in sheer horror as he detects countless dangerous monsters ahead. He quickly snaps back to reality and looks nervously toward his companions. Altair stands calmly beside him, unaware of the monstrous threats in the forest. Luke steps up to ask what is wrong while Drake quietly calls his name. Outside the gate, the instructor calls out to announce that they are now officially a team. The cadets gather outside near the massive gates to start their final assignment. Maya cheerfully leans in to chat, trying to keep everyone excited. Chloe coldly tells her teammates not to hold her back during the mission. Luke warmly encourages his teammate to keep moving so they do not fall behind. Maya pauses to snap a cute selfie while the rest of her team walks off. In the center of the arena stands a giant black obelisk surrounded by walls. The instructor announces that the final trial in 4-person teams is officially starting. Instructors hand out special gear and glass canisters to each cadet. Each canister holds a fragment of black stone designed to clear the heavy fog. The cadets learn they must navigate through the mist and hunt down demons. Each cadet will be scored on both their personal performance and teamwork. Deep inside the fog, vicious demons with glowing red eyes wait for their prey. Jack's simulation narrator explains that future soldiers must prepare for unexpected dangers on the battlefield. The recruits push through explosions and harsh terrain, proving both their physical and mental endurance under pressure. They learn that survival requires trust, teamwork, and protecting core objectives together as a unified squad. Surrounded by ferocious red demons, the team coordinates their actions to prepare for a dangerous battle. Cadets are reminded to stay sharp and react quickly whenever deadly monsters suddenly strike from hidden angles. By working together, the squad slays the giant demon and officially proves themselves worthy of being true soldiers. Smoke rises from the defeated beast as the recruits catch their breath after completing the intense combat drill. High above the training ground, elite officers watch the recruits' performance from an elevated viewing platform. Captain Chloe stands on the ledge, keeping her focused gaze fixed on Grace during the evaluation. As a top commander, Chloe closely monitors every recruit's actions to see who truly possesses real potential. An officer beside Chloe asks the other supervisors for their opinions on the recruit's performance. Another officer listens quietly while watching the trainees, ready to deliver their final evaluation. Captain Finn watches the arena while analyzing the recruit's true potential and battle skills. Down in the arena, Jack calmly stands at the center while his teammates gather around him. Jack offers a confident smile, completely unbothered by the chaos of the ongoing test. High above, Drake deeply ponders the mysterious test results from the Demon Core. Suddenly, Grace interrupts his dark thoughts by lightly nudging his head to distract him. Grace leans down with a curious smile and asks Drake what is on his mind. Drake gets totally flustered and yells at Grace for teasing him in front of Finn. Returning to business, they confirm that strict safety measures are keeping dangerous demons away. The massive desert fortress remains fully secured, so no high-level monsters can breach the area. Finn listens quietly, confident in the security precautions protecting all the new recruits below. He looks out over the vast training field, determined to keep these future soldiers safe. Together, the commanders stand on the ledge, closely monitoring every single move in the arena. An announcement echoes across the sky, declaring that another squad has cleared their test area. Down on the open arena field, observers watch as the lead recruit groups gather. Jack stands with his teammates while holding the heavy beacon device needed to finish. Suddenly, Chloe reaches out and snatches the beacon right out of Jack's grip. Jack stares in total surprise at his hand after losing the device. Chloe sprints ahead with the beacon, daring the rest of her team to catch up. Jack grits his teeth in annoyance, determined not to be outdone. The entire squad takes off running at top speed right behind Chloe. They leap across the dusty battlefield, pushing their limits to stay close. Chloe executes a fast acrobatic flip midair while keeping a tight hold on the device. She slams the beacon firmly into the ground terminal with great speed. The beacon bursts with bright energy, marking the successful completion of their test. Chloe slides across the ground as the test beacon powers up next to her. Maya watches from afar and smiles, praising Chloe for her incredible agility. Suddenly, several vicious red demon beasts appear, growling with sharp fangs. The monsters surround Chloe, forcing her to draw her dagger and stand her ground. Jack sees the threat, shouting to his team as he dashes forward to help. Luke leaps high into the sky, channeling power into his legs. He soars over the training field, charging straight toward the trapped Chloe. Luke slams down hard right between Chloe and the charging beasts. 3 red demons pounce through the air, but Luke readies his power. He activates a giant golden energy shield that blocks the incoming beasts. The furious monsters bounce uselessly off the glowing hexagonal defense barrier. The instructor smiles warmly, proud that Luke has already mastered his defense core. Jack commands Grace to take the lead as the rest of the squad leaps into action. Maya snaps back in annoyance, complaining about Jack taking charge like he is their leader. The squad members stomp their feet into the ground and dash forward at top speed. Maya dives gracefully through the sky with her daggers pulled out, aiming right at the beasts. Grace flies through midair while Luke stays on the ground, keeping his protective golden shield up. Grace narrows her eyes in intense focus as she hones in on her monstrous enemy. She rapidly slashes across the red demon beast before it even has time to react. Glowing blade marks cover the monster as Grace slices it apart with speed and precision. She stomps her boots firmly onto a rock to propel herself high into the air. Grace drops down from above and slams her feet directly into the demon beast. A red demon beast flips wildly through the air after getting thrown off balance. Luke steps in with a glowing fist and delivers a crushing blow to the monster. The massive impact slams the beast into the dirt while the squad lands safely. Jack watches from afar, impressed by how well his team works together. Jack calmly explains how effectively Grace uses her special agility core in battle. Grace locks her eyes on another target and leaps high into the air. She drives her glowing green dagger straight into the demon's back. The blade sinks deep into the creature, unleashing energy inside its body. Green liquid fills the beast's back, causing its upper body to swell dangerously. The monster violently expands, creating a shockwave that blasts Grace backward. Grace catches her balance midair and slides smoothly across the ground. Grace catches her breath right as the monster releases its built-up energy. The demon suddenly erupts in a massive blast of green energy. The violet shockwave knocks Grace off her feet and blasts her backward. Luke dashes in with his blade to strike the red demon beast head-on. Luke locks onto his target and prepares his deadly three-strike attack technique. He swiftly slashes the demon across its neck and chest, spilling green blood. A third glowing strike slices deep into the monster's body. The beast tumbles backward while Luke lands cleanly on the ground. The heavy monster crashes down and skids hard across the dirt floor. Luke slides backward across the ground to absorb the heavy momentum. He digs his knife into the ground to stop, feeling his body's physical limits. Jack dashes forward at high speed, cracking the ground beneath his feet. His rapid movement creates a powerful surge of wind through the air. Jack leaps down from above to attack a giant red demon below. The red demon swings a massive punch directly toward Jack. Jack quickly dodges the incoming fist with a swift side movement. He stabs his blade deep into the monster, spilling green blood. Jack keeps a sharp eye on the fight, carefully testing his physical limits. He twists acrobatically in midair while landing continuous slashes on the beast. Jack strikes the demon repeatedly with fast, aggressive melee attacks. Jack stabs the monster again, noticing his body coordination is slightly off. The giant red demon snarls fiercely with green blood dripping from its teeth. The giant red demon swings its massive arm down in a furious attack. Jack swiftly pulls his blade out of the monster's tough flesh. He slides under the demon's heavy sweep to easily dodge the attack. Jack counters with a sharp slash straight across the monster's face. His weapon cuts deep, glowing bright red against the demon's body. Jack braces himself as the giant red monster crashes heavily onto the ground. Behind him, his teammates watch the unbelievable battle in total silence. Maya records the entire fight while Luke and Chloe watch in awe. Nearby spectators watch from above, thoroughly impressed by Jack's battle spirit. The giant red demon sinks to its knees after taking critical damage. Jack catches his breath, realizing his current body still struggles to use his old abilities. Jack steps firmly onto the ground, getting ready to launch his final strike against the demon. Jack leaps high into the air, determined to end this test with one last attack. Suddenly, a glowing red spike bursts out of the ground directly beneath them. Jack's eyes widen in utter shock as the sudden attack erupts right in front of him. The massive spike shoots upward, impaling the red demon and throwing Jack back into the air. Below them, the rest of the team panics as giant wooden roots encircle the entire battlefield. Huge, dark roots rise from the ground, trapping everyone inside a giant wooden cage. The wounded demon's back splits open as something far worse tries to break free from inside. A creepy, bone-armored monster rips its way completely out of the red demon's splitting corpse. Jack watches in total disbelief as green blood splatters across the air around him. The pale, skeletal beast huffs hot steam as it prepares to unleash its full power. It lets out a deafening roar that shakes the ground and terrifies the entire team. Red demon energy swirls ominously around the massive fortress walls under the bright sky. Drake and Maya stand atop the high wall, watching the dangerous red aura spread below. Drake stares down in pure shock as he senses the immense power of the monster. His eyes widen in terror as he realizes how dangerous this bladed demon really is. Down on the ground, terrified soldiers scream and run for their lives from the beast. Without hesitation, two fighters leap off the high wall to jump straight into action. Jack and Maya dive down together through the air to face the terrifying monster head-on. They smash into the earth below, creating a powerful shockwave against the ground. The hard impact blasts a huge wall of wind and dirt outward in every direction. A massive cloud of dust completely covers the front of the fortress wall. Maya slides cleanly through the thick smoke and hits the ground, ready for battle. She fiercely charges forward with a sharp shout, determined to stop the deadly demon. Jack and his squad freeze as a suffocating demon aura suddenly fills the air around them. Jack's eyes widen in sheer shock as he feels the monster's overwhelming power. The terrifying bladed demon looms over them, speaking in a creepy voice. It radiates a deadly red energy that threatens to slice through everyone in an instant. Maya and the squad tremble in fear, realizing this monster is far stronger than normal demons. They picture themselves getting crushed in a split second before they can even react. Jack stares closely at the towering bladed demon with deep concern. He admits to himself that his current body is far too weak to fight it head-on. Cold sweat drips down Jack's face as immense dread takes over his mind. The demon flexes its sharp, terrifying claws surrounded by thick red smoke. Glowing red orbs flare at its fingertips as it prepares its next attack. Laser-like beams shoot directly from the demon's fingertips into the heads of the squad. The dark energy instantly knocks out the 4 squad members, leaving them completely lifeless. They collapse hard onto the ground while the demon stands over their unconscious bodies. The monster smirks wickedly as deep cracks begin splitting open across the rocky earth. Drake and Altair rush forward at top speed to try and protect the fallen cadets. Drake yells in total anger, furious at the monster for harming his young squad. Suddenly, giant wooden roots burst out of the ground and wrap around the fallen cadets. A terrifying root creature sneers from inside the dark pit as it drags them away. The ground caves in completely, swallowing all 4 squad members into the deep abyss. Drake and Altair stare into the smoking hole, stunned that they lost 4 cadets. Before they can move, a violent earthquake starts shaking the ground right beneath them. Drake screams in pure frustration as the terrifying chaos continues to grow. If you want part 2 of this video, drop a comment, and at 1,000 likes, I'll release part 2. Tell us in the comments how much you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe for part 2.